The waters in Carlingford Lough are quite shallow, and there is a certain portion that's exposed twice a day whenever the tide flows and ebbs and runs. But much of the lough, and of course much of the sea around our coasts, is largely invisible. A really important part of this project is making that invisible underwater world more visible.
Shifting Tides is engaging through the arts with the community. So the whole concept that we were responding to from the Creative Ireland Climate Action Fund is that the arts give us a whole other way to explore our sense of place, our communities, and the actions we might want to take to protect and preserve things into our future.
We're going to be running some sessions on citizen science, which are going to take people down to the shore and help them to learn different ways of identifying, recording, mapping creatures that they find washed up on the tide. This is quite an important way of understanding the sea, because we can learn a lot from what's underneath the water by looking at what's been washed up on the beach, and it makes that kind of knowledge really quite accessible.
Shifting Tides brings together that interconnection between the various disciplines: science, art, social history, oral history. And from that, from the stories that people actually tell you, you gain a hell of a lot of knowledge about the area. Not only its past, but how it's actually being formed and how it might actually go into the future.
We hope to explore all dimensions: heritage, present day, seashore, citizen science, what's going on under the loch in the intertidal zone, and what are the arts responses around that.
There's a huge emphasis on science bringing in its own focus on what we could do to help the environment. As we all know, something's got to change. But I totally believe that art has its place in shifting that mindset.
So as part of Shifting Tides, we're performing our show. One of our priorities is to really reach out to the local audience, coming from both sides of Carlingford Lough. The coast is a real key signal of how healthy our environments are. They're just very interesting environments where the tide is bringing up a lot of life that you wouldn't normally see.
So this place that I like to call the magic line, where salt air tingles and dances with dust, this tidal zone that is retrieved and lended to us every 6 hours and 12 minutes, and then the tide comes back in.
So we're really hoping to engage with all of the communities. We've already started before the project concept came about. It was inspired by communities around the loch that are already engaged in their shoreline, and we hope to keep working with them, supporting them. We also hope that local artists approach us. There'll be workshops. There's going to be a whole lot of things emergent and co-developed by the communities around the loch.
But we want to make this as open as possible, and we want to be able to call people to respond to these workshops in their own creative ways. We want this to be a project of emergence, so that we're really introducing some methods through which we can facilitate understanding of the sea, recording of it, working with it, all around the lough, on both the northern shore, the southern shore, and the entire body of water in between, and then inviting people to find creative ways to respond to it. When coastal communities have gathered knowledge and they can use it, it empowers them to be able to be involved in decision making and to direct the shared future that we want, not only around Carlingford Lough, but in coastal communities all across the island. And that's something that the Shifting Tides project really has at its core, and that it wants to take forward as we run with this project.